Hello. Now, I'm going to talk about an advert for the Norwegian Postal Service. But first I'm just going to do a little bit of definitions here. You see, there's something that came to be known as blackwashing, which meant disguising something white as black in some sort of way. And then after that, by extension, they were talking about pinkwashing. That is a government or an organisation disguising its reprehensible behaviour by saying something like, oh well, we're really nice to gay people, or that sort of thing. But it's now got a slightly wider meaning. That is, when you want to give a good rep to some company or organisation, you dress it up as gay or black or something like that, and you're using the fact that people can't complain about that without seeming like bigots to push your point forward, knowing you're slightly protected from criticism. A little while ago there was an advert for, as you may remember, a department store called John Lewis, and they used a boy dressed up in his mum's dress and shoes. Now, he was being destructive, and they were giving the impression that their insurance policy would cover the destruction that the mayhem that this boy was creating. And of course they wouldn't, so it was withdrawn on the grounds that it was false advertising. But it could have been just a boy dressed in boys' clothes. But they thought that by dressing him in women's clothes with badly applied makeup, this would put them beyond criticism. And here we have another example of that phenomenon. So you see, it's a commercial thing. Norway Post are seeing some way of improving their image, or rather getting their image out, causing people to talk about it, like me, for instance, and then they can use that extra advertising. And what they're doing in their case is pinkwashing. Now, you may ask me, well then, why are you talking about it when you know you're falling into that trap? And my answer is, because I have to talk about it, because what they've done is a thoroughly immoral thing. Now, I'm not talking about having gay characters as their lead presupposition for this advert. Harry Potter, for instance, Dumbledore turned out to be gay. No problem with that. I do not think that every gay man is a sexual predator going to jump on a child. If I did, then I would have found the Harry Potter thing suspect. But I didn't, because it was obvious there was a completely remote relationship between Dumbledore and his students, an ethical relationship. So that was fine, no problem with that. But in this advert, there isn't an ethical relationship. In fact, it's extremely unethical, and that's what's wrong with it. This is the Metro article about it, headlined, "Santa Claus bags himself a boyfriend in the most sensational Christmas TV advert of the year. Prepare to weep." Well, the Adam Miller, the journalist who wrote this, was quite clever there, because that prepare to weep could be one of two things, couldn't it? It could be weeping tears of sentimental joy, or weeping about the death of childhood, the sexualization of childhood, which this advert actually is not so much promoting, but undercutting. It's undercutting the innocence of childhood. Right, I've got that straight. Now, Norwegian Postal Service, Posten, has released its Christmas TV advert with Santa Claus finding the man of his dreams. Oh, by the way, I know I have some Norwegian subscribers, so please let me know what you think about this advert, and also if you tell me about how the general Norwegian public is responding to it. I'm interested. You know, in the comments. Titled, that's the advert, "When Harry Met Santa." The advert acknowledges the 50th anniversary of Norway decriminalising homosexuality, which eventually happened in 1972. In it, a shirtless Harry comes downstairs to catch a startled Santa laying out presents under the tree, before blushing, and that is Santa, blushing and dashing off up the chimney. Okay, I'm not going to start making comments about the symbolism of Santa going up the chimney. Never mind. The following year, Harry lies in bed. Well, so this is a whole year later. By the way, I have my quibbles with the direction of this video because it's very choppy. I didn't even like the presentation of it. The following year, Harry lies in bed wondering if Santa will return before hearing knocking in the living room. As he creeps downstairs, he finds Santa gazing into a black and white photo of Harry in his younger years. Well, it's not very clear and he's not a kid, so don't worry about that. But it is that, so now we have established a point at which Harry has already become smitten with Santa Claus, and Santa has had him, Harry, on his mind as well all year. This is without a word spoken. So they have not developed any sort of a relationship. It's merely how they look to each other. So there's Santa, obviously just as smitten as Harry is, jumping. And then it goes again, it cuts again. Another 12 months and Harry has got himself all dressed up for Santa, puts on his best cologne and falls asleep on the sofa. And wakes up to Santa saying, "You're snoring." And then he goes again. So that's a second year. Okay. Eventually, after spending 364 days of the year pining for St. Nick, Harry writes Santa a letter to let him know that actually all I want for Christmas is you. In the end, Harry gets his wish and makes out with Santa in what truly is a Christmas miracle. Well, yeah, it would be if Santa was a presence that you could actually make out with, then it would be a miracle, I suppose. But yeah, what you see of them is them falling into each other's arms. And then a few minutes a year with his true love isn't enough, obviously, but who can help? Well, Poston to the rescue, because they deliver everyone's presents to lighten the load for Santa. Okay, so what do I see is wrong with this? Well, what's happening is this. Father Christmas, Santa Claus, whatever, he is an entity which you allow into your house, and he brings presents for your children. Now, or for as far as children are concerned, an old man who comes into the house, but you don't have to be afraid of him because he's just there to give you presents. Ho, ho, ho. You see, this one is not just there to give presents. This is an entity with a sexual personality. This, in fact, directly attacks the innocence of childhood. Any child seeing this would think, well, that's a flesh and blood man. Now look, okay, when I say Santa comes into your home once a year, you know I do not believe Santa comes into the house once a year, and he'd have an awful lot of trouble getting down our wood-burning pipes, I have to tell you. But it's still there as a sort of reality, isn't it? We have an image of this person, this entity, this gift giver, this symbol of generosity, this symbol of care and love for children, a completely genderless love. a completely non-sexual love. This is the entity we have in our minds, and that is not this. This is a sexualization of childhood which should not have been done. It's very, very bad. Now remember, I said, Bonhoeffer said, it's not evil, it's stupidity. But actually the effects of this are evil, because there will be children who will get this slightly skewed image of Santa Claus now as a person coming into their bedrooms at night. That's frightening. It is an undercutting of our philosophical trust in the innocence of youth and the ability of something to love children, love everybody, men and women, children, old people, and be generous to them. That's what Santa Claus is, because somebody might say, well, what did Santa bring you? There's that image there. Yeah. In last year's campaign, Santa was angry at Norway Post, which took away from him the business of delivering stuff. So this year, Santa is happy that Norway Post can relieve him a little so he can be with the one he loves for more time, you see, because Poston is sending the parcels. And then she says there will certainly be some negative reactions from some environments. Oh yeah, I'll bet she's counting on that. But we're prepared to deal with that. The right to love whoever, that should be whomever, you want is a fundamental human, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Look, you know, they're disguising this as a gay rights issue when it isn't. It's a destruction of the innocence of childhood. It's a destruction of those situations where a child knows an old man is going to come into his or her bedroom and nothing's going to happen, nothing wrong, all you're going to do is get presents. This is appalling immorality. All right, well, as I say, you Norwegian subscribers, let me know what the local population think, if anyone dares speak out against it without having the sky falling on him or her. Yeah, I always appreciate everybody's comments anyway. Right, that's it. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.